Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper, and guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. Just a quick note to everybody, the stream's going to be at 6:30 Eastern time moving forward, guys, now that we're moving into fall and winter season, and it's going to be 12 Eastern time still on new moon days. And if you don't follow this channel and you're curious as to the scriptural biblical calendar, I encourage you to check it out at World's Last Chance. And you can also check it out on the App Store. The app is free for Android or Apple devices. And that way you can help keep up with the Father's Lunisolar Scriptural Biblical Calendar. All right. Real quick note, I know I've slipped in a couple streams here lately, is that the views expressed on this channel does not necessarily reflect Seven Trumpets Prepper channel or my views personally. The content and things, some of the stuff that's shared on here for discussion. Furthermore, some of the content shared on here is covered under fair use. All right, man, I got that down within 2 minutes. I used to take about 10 minutes to fire all this off. One last note is I don't know if this one will get a community guidelines strike tonight. So with that said, if this one gets pulled off like many others that I've made it to the Hall of Fame, the ones that get deleted off here but are available over on Odyssey. All my content pretty much is over on Odyssey, but the ones that get deleted, I always say that's my Hall of Fame content that gets deleted on YouTube. So you can check that out over at Odyssey. All right. And guys, if you want to hit the like button, that would be greatly appreciated. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so via many different links below. But if you do it via PayPal, I can actually see your comments during the stream. And I'll tell you what, if you want a life hack, okay, I'm going to give you a life hack, free knowledge today. All right, is if you don't want to be bothered on Sabbath, turn your darn phone off, okay? When I turn mine on around the time of live stream, because I use my notes tab as a guideline so that I don't miss stuff that I want to cover on the baseline of my streams, man, you fire that thing up and there's like bazillion texts, comments, or messages and everything, you know, people wanting to bother you on Sabbath. So I'm telling you, that's a life hack right there, and that's free knowledge, okay? Now, real quickly, just going to hit a few comments here in the, I see people's popping in. Hey, shalom. Love everybody. Hey, we got some folks in the house this evening all the way from Washington State. Hey, that's awesome. Love y'all. Yeah, YouTube, guys, is just becoming a very fascist place. The problem is, I think this channel's like 85-something thousand subscribers deep. To rebuild somewhere else takes time, okay? It's took over a decade to build to that here. And you know, it's not like we're doing something stupid here. Like, we're doing something meaningful. And that even takes more time to build, because I could go out and make stupid videos or shock videos, you know, and all this crazy stuff and have, you know, probably a massive following. And I could have done that years ago. But my focus is on the kingdom. Okay. All right. Well, with that said, let's grab this right here, and I will make one last note here, and then we'll get going. Now, if you didn't see last week's stream, I think it's really a good segue into what's getting discussed tonight, because the New World Order, the Freemason, Jesuit, Illuminati, child sacrifice, and blood drinking, satanic government officials and so-called leaders of this world, their kingdom they're trying to set up here, and of course Satan's kingdom, currently the New World Order is becoming very plain to see. And if you didn't watch that stream, I encourage you to go on the playlist and watch it. Okay, it was number 46. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Babylon's time is almost up, specifically in depth on America in depth. Okay, I'm going to highlight all this. Okay, but the destruction is coming soon, and that's tonight's conversation. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get this up here. And when we discuss Babylon, many people have many definitions of it. Okay, there is the, I guess, the grandiose description, which would be the whole world. Okay. And the whole world today is interconnected, intertwined, and in some capacity is part of Babylon, right? But nevertheless, there was the first beast of Revelation, which is the papacy. And there is the second beast of Revelation, which, if you look at it carefully, you see that it is America. It has two horns, like a lamb, speaks like a dragon. We'll go on to this. It come out of the earth, where that waters mean multitudes, nations, and tongues. I believe from Revelation 17 details that out. and scripture breaks down scripture. Well, then when you look over at the opposite of that, that means that a sparsely populated area is where the second beast would rise, which would be America. All right. And if we look in Revelation 18, that quote up there, I borrowed this quote from somebody from IsraelitesUnite.com, but it says, America, Babylon will be destroyed, deliver thyself. But the scripture states, Revelation 18:7-10, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. I want to pause for a second. It's interesting in scripture, a day can be exchanged for a year sometimes in prophecy, right? Day for a year. So we may be looking at an actual day, or we may be looking at this over a year's time frame, America being judged. And it says death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh Elohim who judges her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, the mighty city, in one hour is thy judgment come. Another interesting thing is that if you look in the original establishment of America and its hierarchy and things and all the ties to New York City and Babylon, New York, and all that stuff, it's interesting just how many ties there is, not only to New World Order, but to the Roman Empire being moved to America, to Babylon being tied, and then New York, and just all the Satanism in DC. Dude, I mean, we've got so much to discuss tonight, and I don't want to get in a hurry with this, so please bear with me. I want to definitely take my time to cover the ground of this, because listen, folks, I was talking with a gentleman I was working with the other day, and we're both in the system. Okay, now I'm not a criminal, but I'm in the system because of child support, right? I literally have to go to court on the 21st, and y'all will, and hopefully we'll be set free of this bondage. But nevertheless, the thing is, there's many of us that when Babylon is judged, we will actually be able to rejoice and be free. Like if this system crumbled tomorrow, I'd actually be freer then than I am now. The so-called black man, which is the true Hebrew Israelite descendants of Abraham, they have been put through so much in this country. The Native Americans have been put through so much in this country. And I'm going to cover so much of this stuff, but there's multitudes of groups of people. And then within those groups of people, different demographics in those groups that this system is an impediment to. So when Babylon does fall, and I want to also say that people's going to be like, well, you're anti-patriotic, you're anti-American. Listen, my loyalty is to this kingdom. So if I lived in Mexico, Canada, America comes second. All right. The Constitution, if you actually, there was this little, I want to cover this real quick, guys. I'm going to move on through the slides. There was a political litmus test that you can take online. Okay. And I'll have to drop a link below in the video description. If I don't, somebody remind me in the comments about this after this live stream's over and it's posted on the channel. Is that I took that test and I came up a libertarian. And it was interesting to me because Republicans, so-called Republicans nowadays kind of lean fascist, and liberals kind of lean toward communism and socialism. And it is just crazy that like everybody's like, well, I have to cleave to this party or that party. I'm like, bro, I'm a constitutionalist. But above that, I'm to the point where that if the Torah says do this, the Torah comes first. Then man's law, whatever it says, what is that great saying that not everything that's legal is right, and not everything that is illegal is wrong. And let's pause the slides one quick second. I want to slide an advertisement in here for Hallelujah Scriptures. If you have not got a copy of this, just went through mine today. Love it. I'm going to show you right here. It has the Torah broke down in it so that you can go through it. Me and my wife's been working through this. And people's like, well, you can't keep all the laws. Well, if you actually look at this great breakdown that Hallelujah Scripture's done, you can see how that part of the laws were for everyone. Some were for the Kohanim, the priests, right? The Levites. And then you have different laws that's covered men and women, marriage. I'm sorry, guys, the light is reflecting off of it. Living in the land, farmers, sovereigns, your judges. Just also, it's great. It is a great breakdown, and I encourage you to check that out, hallelujahscriptures.com. All right. Just wanted to remind everybody that I forgot real quick to shout that out before we got going. Man, the comment section is loading up in here. Somebody said the so-called white man is actually a descendant of Japheth. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Yeah, shout out to you guys. Love all my brothers and sisters. Hebrews, Israelites is in the building too. Yep, absolutely. All right. So moving to the next slide. So I'm going to go through a bunch of points tonight. I thought this lady's comment was great. And sorry, I had to chop it down because like her attire was not very respectful, but her quote is amazing. It says, none are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. Now, we need to understand something. We are living in an Orwellian nightmare. Okay. Orwell's 1984. Here you go. I got a great one. Obey with lost his mind, Joe Biden. You know, like we are living in that current state. But now we're not quite there yet. We've got some check off boxes to mark off along the way. You know, we've got AI being fully autonomous by 2025. And I've seen another video where a robot had a katana fighting in it. I got a katana right there above my bookshelf, but that's for, you know, mindless zombies. Whenever they activate the 5G and the all the folks that took the poke, if that really goes down and crazy stuff like that and turns a ton of people into zombies, you know, that's for dealing with things like that, thugs, gangbangers, thieves. It is not for dealing with fighting robots. Okay, I can't really combat that, right? That's, you need like EMPs and things like that to deal with it, right? So we're moving toward a crazy dystopian cyberpunk future, which I think will eventually blow up on itself, and it'll be back to steampunk, the wild, wild west kind of world. And I covered that in a stream a couple months ago, I think. But the snowball effect is coming, and many people live in this country and think we're free. They could come take your home at any time. They can come take your land. They can come take your freedom. They could come haul me off to jail tonight. I think, and currently under the Patriot Act, hold me for 24 hours without any explanation whatsoever. They could just come blow up my life tonight just because they wanted to. Like, we are not free in this country. And anybody that lives under that illusion, you are the closest thing to a fool that you can be without calling you a fool. All right. Because there is a line between ignorance and just being an idiot. And you're really riding that line if you think that we live in a free country anymore. Actually, post 9/11, the freedoms in this country have been eroded at an astronomical rate. And I will cover that. But one of the things that I want to cover here is one thing that, you know, and I hate I don't have this quote up either. I think it was Cicero that said it, is that the closer a society is to collapse, and I'm just summarizing this, the closer an empire is to collapse, the more evil, tyrannical their laws become, or something like that. And I botched that up terribly. But long and short of it, like, you can see that is the direction in which that we are headed. And I'm just so grateful, you know, that I've had about, I think this is 13, 14 years now going on, that my eyes have been open, that if you've seen my first videos, I'm just really intense to where I can just now have these conversations at a very calm, open session with people. And now, to mention, I do this stuff live stream. I can't take back what I said after I said it. And it's just so comfortable now to be able to have these conversations because, one, time has passed and I've seen things for what they are. And two, the things that we have seen and I have told people over the years, it's starting to come to fruition now too. All right. And one of the things is the erosion of freedom. We are definitely seeing the erosions of freedom in this land. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you what, guys. I don't know what's up with people being sick lately, but they have been spraying stuff. Ain't no doubt in my mind, because I've never seen so many people getting sick here lately. And it wouldn't surprise me the next thing they do too. All right. So the first point I want to point out is that how we know not only physically, but spiritually, Babylon has fallen, is you can see that we are starting to get into the point where that your freedom as a human being is being eroded. Because last point I'd make on this point, I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points to cover. We're on number 1, so I'm gonna try to hurry through this. is that if you look at the situation that we're in right now, I told people and they mocked me, and nobody's doing it no more. I'm telling you, I ain't seen none of my haters show back up for this. But one thing I told people was when Roe versus Wade went down, I said, guys, government hasn't caught a conscience. This is about one thing. You can no longer say, my body, my choice. It ain't about abortion. It ain't about anything about that. It is about being able to tell you, you are going to take the next jab and you're going to like it. And it wasn't shortly after that. It was like 3-4 days later. I mean, I think it was like literally 3-4 days later after I said that, if not that, sooner, that the mandate got upheld in New York by the Supreme Court. I was like, check mark. I was like, Luke strikes again, man. And you know, that's where this is headed, guys. But the first thing I want you to understand is spiritual freedoms, physical body freedoms, everything is being eroded. I've never seen it in the 37 years I've lived, as many draconian things going on as right now. And you need to understand that people look to their political leaders and they look to people in government and they say, fix this. And the people that are causing the problem cannot be the same people providing the solution. Okay? I mean, these people drink blood. These people sacrifice children to MOLOCH and to Satan. These people terrorize little children too before they kill them. They worship Satan. They are Freemasons. They are Jesuits. They are people of the Illuminati. I mean, they're open about this stuff. All right. And this is the people that's running this country. So I don't understand why anybody at this point would look to the government for anything. Like, I want the government in this country to fail. Okay. I want everybody to be clear on that. The sooner this country fails, the better it will be for everyone around the world. It's going to hurt for us, but like this country, like the CIA, I'll say this and I'm going to move on. The CIA is the most terrorist organization in the entire world. If I had to worry about the Taliban or ISIS killing me or the CIA, I'll take my chances with ISIS. I would take my chances with radical Islam, because I know the CIA will kill me. They will poison me while I'm sitting at a coffee shop in broad daylight. That's how they work, okay? They've toppled whole governments and empires, guys. Oh, my gosh, from Gaddafi on. I mean, like, where do we even need to start? But what you need to understand is everything always starts with freedoms being gone, okay? And the scripture is a great warning about this stuff, but I'm trying to show you a litmus test right now of where we're at so that you can deconstruct that backwards. Like people used to look at the scripture and they try to look forward. Now we're kind of in the thick of it and we can start to deconstruct and look backwards. Okay. We don't have to make scripture fit our narrative. We can take the narrative we're in and fit it into scripture now. Everybody following me? All right. So the next point I want to make is, now people get so mixed up about the beasts of Revelation. If you look very carefully, and I've covered this in the past, you can check it out, especially about the Roman Catholic Church, the Man of Sin, the Pope. You can check that all out over on Odyssey on my videos. It made it in the Hall of Fame over there because they took it down over here for a community guideline strike. But the first beast of Revelation, you can see that it is the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, this great harlot, all right, this great whore, and her harlot children, right? The false teaching churches spread throughout the world, right? That follow her. This is the first beast of Revelation. And what we need to understand, though, is looking that, you know, this man of sin right here, all right, that all the world soon is going to hand their power over to, because there's going to be some supernatural crazy things going on. You gotta just hang on for this. It's gonna get crazy. Sorry, hold on. I want to see what this comment was, bro. That was so good. We used to read scripture and look forward. Now we are reading and looking at what has already passed in recent years. Absolutely. That's the comment of the night right there. Shout out to you. Love you, brother. The beast of the earth, though, is what I want to cover right now, is, as you can see, that it has two horns like a lamb. It spake as a dragon and exercise all the power of the first beast. Now, America has done more to spread the false thing of Christianity around the world. I say false thing is Christianity because Christianity doesn't teach to follow the Torah. Christianity teaches all sorts of madness, like, oh my gosh, where is it? Where is the finest point that I can hit on here to work backwards? Is the rapture. Let's start with that. Okay, D-Day +1 when the trumpets start. Many people's going to be deeply disappointed, probably walk away from their faith because they weren't raptured away and the trumpets start. All right. Let's say with Christianity, they teach lawlessness. They teach false Sabbath. And I mean false Sabbath on a false pagan Roman calendar too. Don't come at me when I say SAT day worship or SUN day worship. I'm talking about the Father's lunisolar scriptural biblical calendar, keeping it from one new moon to another, one Sabbath to another, just like it's going to be in the new kingdom. So if y'all don't want to get on page, start learning now, because Isaiah 66:23, from one new moon to another, one Sabbath to another, all flesh is going to come worship the Most High. All right. And, you know, this country, America, is just evil. All right. You can see the Roman Empire, you know, being moved over across the waters to here. You can just go to DC and you can just feel the Roman Empire here. You know, like it is just, it never died. It just moved shop. Okay. And moving on, the biggest takeaway from that too is that if you just look at, like, okay, how the Roman Empire and when it became, you know, the so-called Holy Roman Empire, right, and the Vatican and the Spanish Inquisition and all the terrible things that the Roman Catholic Church done and murdered people and took people's lives so that they would convert, right? Well, when you look at when America started, okay, we need to understand when the United States of America is a corporation, all right, that, you know, we need to be very clear upon that, all right. This land is going to be judged heavily by y'all because, number one, it murdered these indigenous people, all right, which now I'm also thinking that possibly these are some of the individuals in the book of 2nd Ezra, I believe it is, that they actually crossed. And I think it was a travel of a year that talked about, and they went to a far off land. And I think to escape the Assyrians. And I think this is probably some of the people that were the original natives. All right. But nevertheless, these people were murdered by this corporation. All right. And next up, you know, like the White House and all this other stuff, you might look at it and be like, wow, that's great. But these are the people that built that, right? Is the slavery that was taking place in this country. All right. From the Castillo de San Marcos down there in, you know, the Spanish fort that now the United States owns, all the way from it to the, you know, the White House in DC. You look back, all the terrible things this country done, and to slavery. And keep in mind, folks, these are the people of the book that you're looking at right there, Deuteronomy 28. These people are under the curse of Deuteronomy 28. And if you haven't checked out the True Hebrews video that I've done like almost 7 years ago now, probably need to look that up. 7 Trumpets Prepper. Just go put it in the YouTube search bar. 7 Trumpets Prepper, True Hebrews. I've done a whole documentary on it. It's like probably over 1 million views now. But anyway, make sure to check that out. But this country has done terrible atrocities to just these two groups alone. Okay. Now you can go across the world and see all sorts of genocides and murders and terrible things. But this country, this wicked establishment, was built upon the backs of these individuals and stolen from these individuals and murdered to take their land. Okay. Like, I mean, it's just, oh man, just crazy. But you have to really look into this. Okay. Because this right here, I think, is a great and helpful website. That's why I left it up so you could see it. You have theright.com. You can go check this out, et cetera, et cetera. But what is important to me to understand, and for everybody to understand, is that the United States government is a registered corporation. Okay. It is a corporation. All right. And they don't care about the white man. This corporation don't care about the black man. It don't care about the Native American. It don't care about the Hispanic, the Latino. Help me out here. Who have I missed? Oh my gosh. The Asian, the Islander. They don't care about none of us. Okay. Can everybody just please for 1 minute, I'll sit around the campfire and sing Kumbaya. All right. It don't care about none of us. All right. This machine cares about serving Satan. All right. This is the center post. This is the guidon for Satan's kingdom right now. The HQ of the New World Order is right here. All right. And you need to understand that. And listen, I'm not a sexist. I'm not a racist. I'm a little bit of a classist. I will tell you that right now, straight up, because most I know is my heart. But the reason I'm a classist is because the wicked, and I'm talking about the wicked, have set up a system where that there is the wicked at the top and there is nobody else. There is the poor at the bottom. That's it. It's like that movie Elysium, right? Where there was just the super wealthy and then there was everybody else that was on the bottom. Yeah, there you go, brother. Shout out to Judah. He gets it. And none of us, I don't care about none of us. Let me tell you, if my melanin was a lot darker in this room today, they still don't care about me. My melanin was a little whiter in this room today and I was super white, they still don't care about me. I need you guys to understand Luke is about the kingdom's business right now. And this United States corporation, aka the United States government, don't care about none of us. All right. They have oppressed the saints. They have murdered people that were completely innocent. Just terrible. But nevertheless, we need to understand this backstory because this helps fit the bill for the second beast of Revelation, because then once we have identified the second beast of Revelation, we know what's ahead of it. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that, Autobot Jazzman 98. You will own nothing and you'll be happy. You know what? They're working hard toward that. All right, Klaus Schwab. Now, see, the thing is, he has it partially right. I want to do like that, just not his version. I want to own nothing and be happy because my son and my daughter own it all, and I'm just a pauper. I'm just taking care of it all until this body stops breathing air and I'm no more existent until the resurrection and the judgment day, right? That's fine by me because then the government can't seize it and I'm just a trustee protecting it for my seed and my posterity after me and my legacy, right? But they don't want that. See, they don't want it where that you can own anything. They don't want you to have any posterity, any legacy, any future, any hope. Are y'all on the same page with me? Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Kim and Frank. Hit that like button, folks. I appreciate the love. All right, so we've established and that's exactly right too. I forget what they called it. It was the Five Fathers or something like that. I read about that recently too, about Mount Rushmore. But anyway, moving on. The next thing I want to point out is that we've covered false freedom. We've covered the beast of Revelation, identifying the second one so that we know what we're dealing with for those of us that's stuck in it, right? We've identified false religion because, that these beasts help spread it. And we've talked about the oppression and the saints and the murders of the past. We've talked about America as a corporation. Now, what I want everybody to do at this point is I want you to look at this and understand that right here is a reality most likely that many of us is going to face. Anyone of those who read the New World Order book, I actually got it in my bag right now. I brought it up on stream while back. I'm trying to read and get through that book. I forget the author that wrote that, but anyway, I'm actually working on that book right now. So get a visualization of this right here, because one day that DC is going to be a desolation, right? Judgment's going to come. And one day right here, we're going to see this right here. Because, just the second trumpet of the seven trumpets of Revelation. When a third of the ships of the sea are destroyed, let me tell you something. New York, DC, a lot of these places, if they ain't washed off the map, they're going to go down in flames regardless. But we need to understand judgment's coming on Babylon. And just a quick caveat, shout out to Putin real quick, because I'm going to cover this just in the one section I've totally dedicated to just talking about nuclear war. Folks, I was born toward the end of the Cold War. Berlin Wall and all that stuff come down. And I've seen some crazy stuff in the past just as a little tot. But I am a grown adult, okay? I'm starting to get gray in the beard, and I'm about a third of the way with already 1 foot in the grave. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I have seen a lot of crap go down, but I'm telling you, if we've ever been at DEFCON 5 for everybody pushing the nuclear football button and the two keys and like nuking the crap out of each other, we're getting close. All right. We're as close as it can get. And I'm not just saying that. Like Mr. Putin literally said that he wasn't bluffing the other day, that if he needs to push the nuclear football button, he's just going to push the red button. Right. These are some serious times we're living in. All right. Now, moving forward to that. Now, I don't know exactly how it will play out. But I know this: when Ferguson, I forget the young man that was killed in Ferguson, Missouri, I believe it was, and those riots took place, that town looked like scorched earth. The Dollar General, I think it was AutoZone. I mean, there was just all these businesses burnt down, cars burnt up. I mean, it looked like literally a nuclear holocaust almost in some of it. And the thing is, we're going to have anarchy at some point. Now, I don't know if that's during the trumpets. I don't know if that's during government shifting to full new world order mode. I don't know the final straw breaking the camel's back. But FEMA has, listen, I used to volunteer for FEMA. I have a certificate on the wall for being emergency response worker. It's literally on the wall with the seal of the government. All right. It's right here. So I'm not talking just to talk. All right. This is like legitimate conversation I'm about to have with you. Is the government is preparing for a lot of bad things to happen. They already have the tools, the manpower, and the materials. Like, this is some serious times we're moving into. And at some point, if the government needs to delete a lot of people, they can do it very efficiently, all right, one way or another. And so anarchy is going to come. Now, one thing I will say, though, is I welcome it with open arms. Because while everything's melting down, even if it was just a 30-day window, couple of weeks window, if you had the material laying around to fully get you off grid, even if you weren't off grid yet, that is a prime opportunity while the world's burning down around us to disappear off the scene and to finalize your preparations. Like, that is my target window, that if I haven't got stuff done off my punch list, that is the prime time, because the government and the system is going to fail. And you ain't going to have to worry about your child support money for your baby mama. You ain't going to have to worry about, oh my gosh, I missed my court case because I had a DUI, which now by all means shouldn't be drinking and driving. But I'm just saying, like, there's all this crap that once you get in the system, you just, for the life of you, can't get up out of it. They ain't going to be no more courthouse. There ain't going to be no more fire department. There ain't going to be no more police force. There is going to be a massive reorganization. I don't know what that will look like, but it's going to get wild. Okay. I mean, it's going to get straight up wild. Oh my gosh. I got to read this comment, guys. It's crazy. Somebody said, eat your cricket meal and drink the cockroach milk, which our bodies can't metabolize. I'm going to tell you what, man. These guys at the World Economic Forum and all this stuff, these people are losing their mind. I mean, they're straight up losing their mind. Okay. But now the good thing about this is that, actually, I don't want to go that slide just yet. We can benefit from this. All right. This is not a time for fear. The Most High Yah's wrath is something that to fear. Even the trumpets, I'm going to probably be in shock and awe. Even though I know, hey, this is going to happen. When it does happen, I'm like, dang, that just happened. You know what I'm saying? I've been preparing now, going in one decade plus, starting on the second decade. Like, this is wild, But the breakdown of society and anarchy will be honestly one of the greatest blessings to many of us that have left out of the cities and come out of her. All right. That will be an absolute blessing when the time comes, because it will cut a lot of problems off. Now, it will also, however, create rogue people, and thieves, and murderers, and desperate people. There is always two sides to a coin. So where many problems were deleted, others will creep up. So this is something to be mindful of. But I'm just saying, this is something to plan for as Babylon falls. This country is going to fall. In my opinion, this country is already under judgment. All right. Judgment's already started on this country. But I'm telling you, like, we are creeping very closely to a massive crumbling of society. And you can just see it. Everybody's hurting financially. The feds are going up with the interest rate, which is only going to cause recession, which ultimately may turn into the next Great Depression, just like my grandmother warned me years ago before she died, that, the things she was doing was for my benefit, because that it wouldn't be her that would live through it. It would be my generation. And her words are ringing in my ears still to this day. And she's resting in her grave, waiting on the second resurrection. So yeah, and yeah, I agree with that comment right there too. Somebody said this country is already in second Ezra. Yeah, if you're talking about the winged bird, I agree with that. Yeah. No, and it's not a blessing for believers to be in the city. Absolutely. And that's an excellent one right there, Tracy, too. Don't be afraid of the first death kills body. Guys, I just don't want to die in an unrighteous state. Father God, please don't take your spirit and please forgive my sins, save me. Absolutely. All right. So moving on. The next thing that I want to cover, and guys, now I'm doing this live stream early night, so I'm not going to be doing shout out to the sponsors on the channel, probably unless it just gets after sunset. I think it's at 7:30, so I may do it toward the end of the show. But now the next thing that we need to understand is that as Babylon falls, the system is going to fail. Okay, the guys working the hydroelectric dam, they're not going to be showing up for work. The people that take care of your sewage waste and process your trash, they're not going to be showing up. The people that have a family are not going to be going to the hospital to take care of your family. They're going to be taking care of their own. You need to understand that you have to become your own power supply, your own doctor, your own food supplier, your own, your own grocery store, your own hospital, your own utility company. Like, we've got to start getting in this mindset, because it's going to go. The problem we have right now is that years ago, if you had a wood stove and then all of a sudden you got electricity, well, you got the best of both worlds. But now, if you wanted a wood stove, it's a lot of trouble to just put a wood stove in your house anymore. But you can easily go buy an electric heater or an air conditioner. But when the electric company fails and you don't have no off-grid power, what are you going to do then? You see, we're having a struggle to go backwards. But years ago, it was easy to go forwards. But now our system, our society has been built in a way that we're staggered to where we can't go backwards, really. And to try to go backwards is with a great struggle. And, Day of Atonement is coming up on us tomorrow night at sunset. I mean, this is a time to really purge our sins. Like, there's so much stuff that I just want to not be in my mind and in the back burner of my thoughts at all anymore. I just want to do the right thing from now. I want to, the next year of my life be one of the most set apart years of my life to the most I've ever had, and one of the most successful and peaceful, y'all willing. And please, Master, y'all let that come to pass. But right here, what I want to say to this is that the system is going to fold in on itself, and it's just a matter of time. And I don't know how to try to comfort some people, because I know right now, if it fell apart, most people ain't ready to be self-sufficient, and it sucks. And, a lot of this, we're going to have to give it over to y'all. But one thing is, a reality is this stuff's going to happen. Listen, I can go down to the hydroelectric dam. Let's see, I think it's Cherokee Dam. Yeah, I was down there fishing this past year, a year before, I think it was. And there is cracks in the concrete where the water is actually coming through. Coming through the dam. And I could see it right there, park and walk over and look at it. When the first trumpet starts right before that, and the first earthquake kicks off, that thing's probably going to go bust anyway. The thing's been there for I think now since the 40s. I mean, it's almost 100 years old. I mean, it's creeping up. This stuff's going to get wild. Okay. But Babylon's going to fall apart, and we're considered a first world country. You need to understand something. People live in third world country. It's just another day to them. But here, in a first world country, when this falls apart, dude, it's going to be life changing. Life changing. All right. Now, I want to give this a shout out. Now, I got to be careful with this, because I don't want this video pulled on community guideline violations. So I'm going to talk in parables, just this next little dip, right? Not only with, actually, and let me make sure I got my slide queued up right past this. Yeah. Okay. So not only with the system failing on itself and resources being an issue, on top of that, the wickedness that these people are going to try to continue to do to our bodies. Okay. I don't know if people missed it. I think I talked about this in the last live stream, but I haven't read it yet. I'm going, you know what, Day of Atonement, that may be a great read, but the Book of Giants, which they found in Qumran, actually goes further in depth, talking about that the fallen messengers, the fallen angels, right, literally took like, I think it was 20 or 200 different DNAs, and mixed it and stuff of animals and things. And like, apparently they literally created giants by their offspring with women, but they also created literal monsters. But they loved the sons, but they didn't love the monsters they created. And I don't want to add to the scripture or take anything away. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's so much knowledge coming forward in the last. Oh, somebody said 200. Okay, I couldn't remember. It's 20 or 200. I'm still trying to get all these facts together, and of course, when I read it in full context, it'll be fine. But like, it's just, actually, I have my personal Facebook account set to that, to Babylon, New York. That's where I have it, because I don't want people, to know exactly where I do live. But I actually picked that because it said Babylon. Yeah, Babylon, New York. Yep, that's a real place too. But the thing is, there is a lot that they're going to continue to try to do to contaminate our bodies. And please understand that as of the days of Noah, so shall come the Son of Man be. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the threshold. We are finally at that point that hasn't been in millennia. Okay, multiple millennia. I need everybody to understand this. And guys, I've been talking for I've been on here live for 42 minutes and haven't missed a beat on this stuff. You know what's sad is I'm just a farmer, and outside of that, a electrician. And currently now I manage a tiny house factory building tiny houses. And the fact that I'm just a simple everyday guy off the street and understand a lot of this stuff should be shame upon so-called pastors and scholars and teachers and deacons and elders and apostles and leaders. It should be shame upon them, because they ain't telling people this stuff. Like, if you listen to me and you still go to the church house, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, literally, Feast of Trumpets, a bunch of us got together, had a fellowship up in Gatlinburg. It was phenomenal. And just so glad that we done that. And I'll tell you what, man, this is just crazy that we are in the last days fellowshipping together in such small groups, because the corporate church has the corporate fellowships let us down. So there you go, that part. Somebody said, I agree. And I hate it, guys, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And it ain't going to get no better. Okay. So you can either go to corporate worship and just, deal with all them lies and nonsense, or you can have small fellowship groups together. I mean, it's just where we're at. And no church place is speaking the truth. No. And dude, listen, when the trumpets start, people will be beating my door down to hear what I got to say, because I've been telling people this stuff for going on now, starting on the second decade. And people are going to be like, listen, there's some people out here that's been saying that this stuff would happen for a long time. And I think they're starting to be right. And people are going to be beating the door down when that day comes. Some to hear the truth, and probably some to murder me because they hate that I told them the truth. All right. Next up, what I want to say is that, happy Shabbat day to everybody, by the way. That's right. Shout out to you, Michael Dolson. I totally forgot to tell everybody happy Shabbat for those keeping Father's Looney Solar Scriptural Biblical Calendar. All right. So the next point I want to cover is that the plagues, the bowls of wrath, all the stuff that's to come, folks, America is not going to escape this. All right. I am going to tell you, if America goes unscathed in this, I will be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked, because if any country deserves judgment, it's this country. Oh, just on what they've done to the seed of Abraham, just to the seed of Abraham, what they've done to them. That alone, the Most High should wipe this place just clean off the map, burnt from front to back. But long and short of it, when we look at this, these things are inescapable. All right. It's going to happen. The first four is going to affect everybody, no doubt about it. Now, if you ain't sealed, trumpets 5, 6, and 7 is for sure going to, have an effect on people. But this is going to be taking place during Babylon's judgment, either during, somewhere this is going to pop off, and it's not going to stop. Okay. You need to understand too, that the earthquakes that's going to take place during these things, that starts the trumpets, and then the great earthquake at the end of it, which we're going to talk about that too, because this whole section about the guy, they're going to say, oh, these are so-called natural disasters, but I'm going to save that for the very end of this presentation. I've got some stuff that or honorable mentions kind of thing. And I'll cover that toward the end. But like, you need to understand that if you haven't accepted the fact that the 7 trumpets of Revelation are going to take place and there's not going to be a rapture, if you haven't accepted that, when the rapture does not take place and the first trumpet starts, you need to understand that if Babylon has not fallen, like on her knees at this point, she's going to go flat. Oh gosh, she's going to go fat. She's going to go flat on her face into destruction at this point. Okay, you are past the point of return. You do not get to go past go on the Monopoly board. You do not get to collect $200. You're going to go directly to hell. All right, not jail, but to hell. This place is going to go straight to hell. All right, and when I say hell, I mean like just destruction, right? Not on here to curse. I'm talking like literal tear down destruction. All right, and so what I want to point out lastly on this is that now there's going to be different places where that we all live in this world. This geostationary flat earth under a firmament dome right there with waters above and waters below, like scripture talks about. And, you know, the 7 firmaments, if you read out Apocalypse Abraham, there's a lot of depth to this, is that you need to understand that we're not escaping out of this terrarium, right? And the things that are going to transpire and take place are inescapable. And so we have to trust the Most High Yah, but we also have to come to terms with the fact that this is going to happen. And, you know, one way or another, somewhere, wherever you live in this world, you know, something's going to go on. It's going to affect you one way or another. Okay. Guys, I'm going to take a pause just a second because it does look like it is sunset here now. And I'm going to take a quick shout out for everybody out here that's supporting this channel. I'm going to start out with my wife's t-shirt shop. If you haven't checked it out on Etsy, it's Kingdom Minded is her t-shirt shop on Etsy. Totally encourage you to go check that out. She has a bunch of different designs, links in the video description below. She even does those, I don't know, it's like bleach style shirts. I guess they are. I need to upload some new pics from the shop with all the new stuff that's been uploaded. But I encourage you to go check it out. She's got a bunch of different designs. She even has one section that's dedicated 7 Trumpets Prepper channel, the designs and stuff that I wear on here. The shirt that I'm wearing on here tonight, she made for me as well. Guys, also make sure to check out Battle Box. The code is now 7 Trumpets 15. It's 7 Trumpets 15. They had to change that up a little bit, but I encourage you to check that out. And the first box, if you sign up with them, you get 15% off. So make sure and don't miss that opportunity. Faraday Defense, if you haven't checked them out, links in the video description below. Done reviews on their stuff. It actually works. Very cool stuff. Very cool tech. They have a budget, you know, stuff for a budget for everybody pretty much that's prepping. If you haven't checked out Mirror Safety and their protective equipment for biological, chemical, nuclear, definitely encourage you to check it out. With the reality that we're facing right now in the world we're living in, getting crazy, probably not a bad idea to invest in some of this. I've done a review on it on multiple gas masks, but these guys got some really good stuff all the way down to baby gas masks protecting. So just saying, there's something for everybody in the family there with that. And I think, have I covered everybody on the shout out list? Yes, that was everybody on the shout out list for today. All right. Got some new people coming up that we're going to shout out to. And let me see what they said right here. All right. Okay. Moving on. Now this one, let's see. Yeah, these next couple things I want to point out, but at the same time, some of this could kind of fall honorable mention-ish. But nuclear war, guys, is something that we may potentially see here in the months, weeks, and years ahead. And multiple different places in the world, and possibly in the Middle East for sure, because of 2nd Ezra chapter 16 talking about, woe to you, Babylon, Asia, woe to you, Egypt, Damascus, put on haircloth, sackcloth, but wear you sons and daughters, because destruction's nigh at hand. Well, if, and then on further down talks about this, the beginning of sorrows. If we see that go down over there, who knows what all destruction may happen. You know, there's going to be some really, really wild stuff potentially pop off with that. So you got that, and then you got Mr. Putin talking about that, things continue to continues to get back in the corner. I mean, he's going to probably have to hit the nuclear football, and they got newer tech possibly than what we have. So you got that in the works and in the mix. Okay. And then to further compound this is that NATO is pushing and pushing and pushing to eventually, folks, where that if two of the biggest bad guys on the block end up getting into it, somebody's going to end up getting their teeth knocked out. It's just how it always goes. And so moving forward, this may be a potential reality. And not only that, I mean, this is one way of judgment being doled out for sure. And it would not surprise me at some point if America did not have that happen to it. Now, the other thing, which is an important point, but also I would say an honorable mention, and this is the last point that I have on here tonight, guys, is that I want to talk about natural disasters for a minute, because as we move forward, like Ian, what it done to Florida the other day was mind-boggling. I watched time-lapse videos. I looked at overlay maps of like land just completely gone now. I'll be honest with you, since Hurricane Katrina, that one probably is just like in the top 10 list now. Just wow. But we're going to start seeing an uptick in so-called natural disasters. And on top of that, what we need to understand is that we're going to see an earthquake so powerful one day that like it just rips cities apart across the world, I'm sure. Not only that, the one that starts the trumpets off, right? Like that signals the trumpets are coming. That one, who knows the catastrophic damage that's going to happen. And, I mean, it's going to be, I just don't even know how to, sorry guys, I got squirrel there for a second in the comments. I don't know how to even really put a clear, concise picture together of just how bad this is going to get for most people. But, we need to understand that as judgment gets doled out, and especially on America, that we're going to see the U.S. definitely have massive, terrible things happen to it. Ain't a doubt in my mind. And, I don't know how to reconcile some of this in my mind, but I'll tell you this. I have no doubt in my mind that what will happen to America will probably be far worse than what happens to some of the rest of the world, because this place is definitely played its part in the massive destruction of so many countries. It has done terrible things to the seed of Abraham, transatlantic slave trade, all that crazy stuff. It has done terrible things to indigenous peoples here. This land is tainted with blood. This land is tainted with Satanism and wickedness. And I'm going to tell you, that is not going to go unchecked and unanswered. It is eventually going to get wrath poured out up on it in full measure. All right. And yeah, okay. Now that's a good one right there. It says, I think the Catholic Gregorian calendar is the mark. That's what they call it, their mark. Yep. Listen, the mark in the hand, I've always leaned on is physical works, and the forehead is mental agreement with the beast calendar. I'll tell you what, guys, it's so hard to keep the Sabbath. It is so hard anymore. Like, it's to the point where then on Sabbath, I have to turn my phone off, because that's the one day a week that everybody decides to blow up my phone. It's the one day a week that apparently just everything seems to need to get done. It's just how it is. And the best thing to do is just step away from it all and, honor the Sabbath, keep the commandments. And I'm telling you, Day of Atonement, like I said, is right around the corner. I want to do the right thing. I just want to honor the Father and keep his commands. And I know that there is a struggle that we're all going to face coming up. There ain't no doubt about it. And the sooner that you can wrap your mind around it, the better, because, we're going to be forced into situations that are going to make us be like the three Hebrew children, be like, I stand up and be like, I ain't going to have no part of this. Right. There is situations already being laid before us right now where that would, like the Roe versus Wade, they're queuing up the line where you can't say my body, my choice anymore. Listen, the next time they come around and say, you got to take this, you got to take that, my answer is still a resounding no. It's an absolute resounding no. But I'm just one person in a group of so many of them. Like it's come down to now, or it's a personal responsibility thing to walk out the truth. It is a personal responsibility thing to honor the Father and keep his commands. It is a personal responsibility thing to say, I'm not going to take that. No, thank you. You may go now. Excuse me, guys. So sorry. Tired is kicking in. But it's going to be to the point where that we're going to have to literally stand up and take a stand for something. People can't just be on the fence no more. The events that are transpiring are going to knock everybody up off the fence. I think I already started knocking people off the fence, and it is showing people where they stand and who they stand with. And yeah, that's all I know. Somebody said, yeah, there's going to be a captivity come for many of us that trying to walk out the truth. Yeah, ain't doubt about it. And yeah, this is a good comment for the night right here too. Is like the days of Noah and scoffers. Yeah, there's people, guys, that still with everything going on are like, there's nothing about it. And I'm like, bro, have you just lived in the past 2 years? I mean, have you been awake just the past 2 years? And right here, these are some great comments now. And I'm watching this thing just feed along. Is the biggest problem is to explain to the family members because they're not trying to understand what I should do. No. And right here, somebody said, keep spreading the truth, brother. One of the best channels talking about this stuff. I appreciate that, Captain Red. But I mean, many people, and especially our families, they have no interest in trying to reconcile understanding this information or believing, and I hate that. But ultimately, I want a new heart to keep the commands, right? I want a clean soul so I can do the right thing. Secondary to that, I want the kingdom to come and wash away this system so that I'm not immersed. Every day we walk out the door. This is one of the last comments I want to make, and then I'll kick it with reading some of y'all's comments for just a little bit and then wrap it up for the night. Is one of the things that I would point out to everyone is that every day you wake up and you walk out the door, you are immersed in a system that hates the Father's commands, that hates his kingdom, and does everything it can to steer you away from doing the right thing. The institutions that are supposed to protect you, the government, they don't give an ish about you. The church house, they don't give an ish about you. What else? What else we got? Ooh, let's see. We got government. We got religion. Oh, yeah, here's another one. Science, right? People supposed to be in science, technology, and medical. They don't care about you. So, I mean, like, you have to understand you are a product. You live in a corporation, literally, United States. I showed you tonight as a corporation. That's your own personal responsibility to go seek these things out to see if they be so. But we are literally at the end of the age in a society that is so wicked, and that society dwells within a evil corporation that's set up, that you're all alone out here pretty much. And it's hard to find other believers that will walk out that fine line with you. And so ultimately at the end of the day, we have to put our trust in the Most High, focus on the scripture, and try each day to make a dent in getting prepared for what's coming. Yeah, and that right. And don't worry, this will definitely happen. It's an event much worse than 9/11 will be needed to rattle the masses. That event will be the 7 trumpets of Revelation starting off. But I'm going to tell you, when it does, it's going to be wild, man. It is literally going to be a wild ride. But guys, I'm going to check out the comment. If anybody's got a few questions or comments they want to make, I'll definitely check it out right here. And then I'll keep it moving and we will finish the stream out. But guys, I'll tell you what, I really enjoy doing this because it seems like there is so much to talk about, and there's not enough hours in the day to cover it all. Like, there is just so many. I'll be going through the week, and something will come to mind. Be like, man, that would be a great conversation to have with people. Man, that would be a great topic to talk about. And there's so much happening at such a quick rate anymore. I cannot even cover it all. But like, it is literally mind blowing to me to be living in the time we are right now, finally seeing stuff come to fruition right before your very eyes, like literally right before your very eyes. All right. But with that said, I'm going to get in the comments here and chop it up for a minute. Somebody said, Malcolm X says, I don't like watching the news anymore. Listen, I don't watch the news anymore because it triggers me. I get upset because it's just garbage. I mean, it's manufactured to get a response. It's manufactured to trigger the brain. They know what's up. They know what they want to do to stimulate the news's job is always to continue to stimulate class warfare, racism, politics, political division, societal division. Like, they know what they're about and they know it works. And it's just madness. And anybody that turns the news off has literally helped their health immediately. Like, literally help them immediately for their own health. Yeah, well, that's interesting. When we see some crazy stuff going on again, like Days of Noah, that'll be wild to see. Yeah, the news only tells lies 24/7. Yeah, that's right. TV, the ET says West Coast is drenched in blood, must be cleansed. This whole country is literally covered in blood. I mean, and it is going to be one heck of a show to see whenever judgment starts to be poured out on it. Somebody said the news is mostly lies anyway. Listen, guys, a lot of us in the building are the true woke, like the good woke, and we see that. But here's the problem: for you counting as one person, there's about 50 other people that actually turn the news on and believe that garbage. So it's so hard to reconcile that when most of the people aren't on the same page. I'm just saying, it's a mess. Let's see here. Let me see what they said. Right now, the events have been mostly man-made, but soon they will be brought about by Yah. Yeah, the things that's going to be brought about in the near future. Anybody that has eyes to see and ears to hear, they're going to know what's up when it pops off, because there is going to be a massive trying of the news and governments to put a lid on things, of a concerted effort, to cover things up. But it is going to be so clear as day what's up when it all pops off. Let's see here. I've struggled to keep the faith, keep the law, statutes, commandments for years, and after knowing truth, I'm at the point where I am driven to repent my wrongdoings and prepare. Tony Snowman, I'm with you, brother. I am with you. I do not want to walk out this thing in any failure anymore. I want to get it right and do the right thing. So, guys, listen, it's been good. Just a quick recap, and I think this is real good to start going over at the end of these shows, is that the points we covered today, the false freedoms, this is Babylon fallen and Babylon's judgments coming up, is that if you look at it, you got false freedoms, the beast of Revelation we talked about, false religion, the oppression of the saints, and the murders of the past, America as a corporation, anarchy's coming, system failure, resources, problems, the plagues and the seven trumpets to come, the wrath of Yah via the trumpets, nuclear potential war moving forward, and natural so-called disasters. And this is a good point that was brought up. I actually covered this in the last live stream, brother. Is that, have you seen how close to being dry the river Euphrates is? That is actually an excellent point that I brought up last stream. Now, I did not bring it up this stream because it's not part of this particular thing, but it also does help set a timeline, that which I'll gladly acknowledge the timeline for that, because when the river Euphrates is dried up, right, that's to make way for the kings of the east. Not only that, is it not that there's 4 messengers bound in the river Euphrates to come out and do judgment on the earth too? So that'll be loose. So I'm telling you, like, there is a lot of stuff going on that's just right around the corner. And right here, somebody said, God's stones are gone because they don't need the instructions anymore. Guys, if you remember earlier this year, I set up a meetup down there, went down there 3 weeks after the stones got destroyed, I had that planned for months, set all that up, told everybody about it. And then about 3 weeks out before I went down there, then they were destroyed. And I went down there and checked it out, and there wasn't a pebble. I couldn't find a pebble left on the ground from that. So I'll tell you, it was one of the quickest crime scene cleanups I've ever seen in my life when I went down and investigated that, even still after the fact that it was gone. So I'm telling you what, there's a lot of moves being made here, a lot of moves being made, and you can check out the videos I've done about the Godstones and also my visit there recently. When was that? That was back early summer, middle of summer, I think it was. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up for the night. It has been awesome as always. Always enjoy hearing people's comments, seeing people's comments and stuff in the stream. But make sure to check it out. I'm going to be in here starting 6:30 Eastern time and 12 Eastern time on new moon days. On Sabbath, 6:30, new moon days at 12, being here on live stream. Guys, it's been awesome as always. Let me take the banner down real quick because it always seems to get in the way whenever I start to do the outro. But guys, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at the number 7 and then trumpetsprepper@gmail. Actually, do I have that right there? You can reach out to me if you have questions, comments, or something you'd like for me to cover in content on the show, on the Hard Truth Show. I'll definitely be glad to do that as long as it's something in good context. I'm always interested in seeing where people think on things, so I'll be glad to cover that. But guys, as always, till we see you again here, 7 Trumpets Prepper Channel. Hope Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, and Yahushua Anai.